Hi, everyone, and welcome to this edition of the ChannelVision Podcast. My name is Gerald Baldino. I'm one of the editors here at ChannelVision, and today we're with Brightlink, a leading multi-cloud management software provider offering voice and messaging communication applications and analytics. Joining us today is Brightlink Chief Technology Officer Joe White and Ken Adams, who is Director of Channel Sales at Brightlink. How's it going, guys?
Good. Thanks for having us. Excited to be here.
Great. Thank you.
So, Joe, I know you've been at Brightlink for a while. Wondering if you could start by providing a little bit of an introduction for us about the company.
Yeah, I have. So Brightlink, it's our 11th year, and we started by being a underlying network services provider for Tier 1 and Tier 2 networks. So what that meant was deploying assets through the country to provide voice services for all the big names. And what that allowed us to do was then have this great network to build off of and offer out to resellers, partners, and give them the same type of experience that all the Tier 1 networks were buying from us at the time as well. So it's allowed us to put a lot of new products and services onto something that was already serving a huge amount of traffic out to the bigger providers. Just to give you an idea of scale, we do about 180 million minutes a day, and that's on our core network. But more than just voice or messaging provider, we're a FCC licensed wireless provider, IPES in all 50 states. So really have a big reach that allows our customers to get a lot out of their business with us.
Now, what services does Brightlink offer, and what type of customers really fit with those services?
Yeah, so it's evolved over the past few years. It really started as the big carriers, and that was how we built out the network. And that's changed from those folks to a lot of the technology providers, the big UCaaS companies out there that use our CPaaS platform, to now really focusing in on the channel and resellers with our white label applications, which is what Ken focuses in on.
Now, in this podcast today, I'd like to discuss some of the various layers that make up your services. So I'm wondering if we can go into that into some detail.
Yeah, when we look at communications, there's really kind of three layers that it works on. So there's the physical network layer, which is what we built to start Brightlink, and that's where you have IP transit, IP backhaul, voice, messaging. And then on top of that, there's things like integrations. So that is APIs, where you can do things like buy a number. And there's plenty of CPaaS companies that are out there where you're using APIs to do provisioning. You're using APIs to do number portability or to assign E911 and that sort of thing. And then you have the application space, and the applications where you see the UCaaS providers that are out there. So folks that are providing web-based applications, software as a service. And I think the thing that's unique about Brightlink is we have all three of those. Many folks are focusing on being that SaaS provider or focusing on having the best web-based application, but then using partners for either APIs or for IP transit underneath. We actually have those great applications, and they pull from our network, they pull from our APIs, and they pull from the integrations that we have built in.
Now, why is it important for a service provider or customer to cover each one? And can you piece it together with multiple solutions?
Yeah, I mean, you certainly can. We think that a big part of the value proposition of working with us is there's no finger pointing. For better or worse, if something either isn't working or needs to be changed, there's no one for us to point the finger to. We can look at a call from when it leaves the PSTN or a mobile provider all the way when it touches our cloud PBX system. Same thing with messaging and IP transit. So for us, it's being able to go to one partner and have them be able to address the issue, or at the same time be able to come out with a new feature or a new product and be able to layer that in instead of having to rely on multiple supply chains.
Now, is customer service impacted if you're able to get access to all layers from one provider?
Yeah, I think it greatly improves it. Being able to not be able to pass the buck, so to speak, is certainly beneficial to our customers. Being able to just open one ticket or go to like Ken, for example, and have him be able to manage the entire experience, whether it's network related or it's application related or provisioning through our CPaaS APIs. It's one company to work with that has all those pieces.
Now, I'd like to shift and talk a little bit about the network at this point. What does it mean to really own your own network?
Yeah, so owning our own network is more than just saying we have a data center and we host our own servers. We're actually a federally licensed wireless carrier. We're state and federally licensed for interconnected VoIP and for CLEC. And what that means is when our customers come to us with unique issues and they need to be able to port numbers from a small ILEC somewhere in the country that other folks can't get to, we can actually go and establish a relationship and be able to port those numbers and help them out. Whereas just relying on someone else and having to go to the common carriers to be able to provide services, you don't get that same level of attention. And they actually they're not going to go and negotiate a porting contract with a small ILEC. So I think that certainly gives us a benefit for our customer.
And so you're working with a nationwide network now, right? You have nationwide coverage?
We do. So we have our own numbers in 50 states. We've got IP interconnection points in 164 data centers. So if you no matter what co-location facility you're in, chances are you're probably just across the hall from us somewhere.
And do you have an international footprint?
We don't have a international footprint where we have gear, but since we are a kind of carrier's carrier, there are a ton of international partners that we have that through our CPaaS platform, you can provision numbers on their networks, and we cover, I think it's somewhere around 100 countries, and that's all real-time provisioning. You can go in, search for a number in Belgium. We reach out to our partner via their API, provide that number, and then provision it for you instantly. So there's no additional contract that you have to go get. If you need numbers in Belgium, you don't have to go negotiate with Gamma or British Telecom. If you need something in London, that's all done for you. And having that large voice network and has allowed us to build those relationships over the years. So not only do you get a lot of coverage, but you get some pretty good pricing as well. Now,
you mentioned APIs. Wondering if you could talk a little bit about your strategy regarding APIs and your common uses for them.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, one of the things that we see most with our APIs is being able to search for portability of numbers, being able to see if you can SMS enable numbers. That seems to be a big thing now. We allow an easy to use REST API that you can really integrate into anything. So if you've got a CRM system that you use as part of your business process, when someone sales or makes a sale, they can go in, you can automatically check to see if the number is portable. We give you back all the information, what network is it currently on, which a lot of companies find helpful because they can find out if there's anything else they need to go back to their customer. A lot of times there'll be a number port or a sale that's made by one of our partners, and they have 100 lines. They don't realize that 2 lines got ported out somewhere along the way. So all those different APIs that allow you to check for things like portability and what network the numbers are on just help with the business processes overall.
Now, when looking at your roadmap, are there any exciting use cases for your current API set or new API connections that may be on the horizon?
Yeah, so there are. What we like to do is go where our customers point us. And there are some new things with messaging that are coming out, some new rules around 10DLC and being able to send messages through AT&T and Verizon and others that are out there. They're putting some new restrictions on that. So what we're going to do is build out APIs that allow that process to be streamlined, whether it's registering numbers or registering campaigns. There's a whole new set of rules that are coming out around that. So that's going to be built into our API set. And then we also look at what our customers have. So a lot of our customers are in the NetSapiens world, and we've actually built APIs that allow them to provision numbers in our CPaaS platform and then go ahead and push them out automatically to their NetSapiens switch. So there's a lot of those integrations that make us different. We'll certainly do things that are important for our customer base, and that was one of them, the most recent.
We'll be sure to keep an eye on that as you move forward with it. I'd like to switch the focus to applications here. Why is having applications important? What do your customers really enjoy or latch onto in the Brightlink application set?
Sure. So, I mean, the base of everyone's business is some kind of application, right? Whether you're an MSP and you're a strong Microsoft shop and selling Office 365 and all the services that go with that and things like that, right? So it's only natural that you add the communications layer on top of that. And what we've done here with specifically the three different apps, CPaaS, which then flows into our Cloud PBX application, and also flows into our message view application. You can combine the three of those and take that to the downstream customers as an MSP, and now have a great overlay product set that you're adding on top of your existing MSP offerings, whether, like I said, whether you're a Microsoft shop or security shop or data storage type shop. All of the customers out there have a need for unified communications and the apps that are built around that communications platform.
And so you really offer a robust set of applications for partners.
So expanding on that a little bit, right? The popular application sets out there, everyone is hearing about CPaaS these days, right? And what that does. And Joe alluded to that a little bit. Our CPaaS platform, we can directly integrate into NetSapiens for NetSapiens customers. We can integrate into Sansei. And of course, we integrate that into our own UCaaS offering. So what's great with something like that is now, as a customer of Brightlink, I can go in CPaaS, do all my number porting, number ordering, even changing number features on the fly in there, whether they're SMS or MMS enabled, changing 911 address associated with the number, changing what trunk group I want them to go down, and even being able to set up SIP trunks right out of the CPaaS portal. So we put that all in the front end CPaaS portal, which then flows to our other applications, again, UCaaS and Message View, and it just makes it a lot easier from a provisioning standpoint for the customers, and a lot less work. So when they push numbers from CPaaS into hosted PBX, it goes directly into the end customer's domain. So it's not like they have to go move around numbers after the fact. We put it and deposit it and make it available right there for their customers. So it's little things like that we continue to improve on and add new feature sets to in our applications that really drive the adoption of what we're selling here at Brightlink. And then what's really cool, you couple that with our proprietary network that Joe talked about, and it's just a really powerful application suite to go out to, for our MSP customers, out to their customer base. So,
how are Brightlink's applications helping MSPs and channel partners tackle remote work and assisting businesses in today's post-COVID environment?
Yeah, great question. So with the hosted PBX UCaaS platform, we have all the tools necessary, including the WebRTC-based video conferencing and soft phone. We have the mobile apps available for the UCaaS platform and the Message View platform. And so interesting, like just a little case study sort of for Message View, right? It's a enterprise-based messaging platform. And, a lot of our partner MSPs sell that into school districts. And lately, because of the working from home type environment and things like that, it's interesting. They also are pushing out to car dealers to sell cars with, where they can send a link to the exact details of their car simply based off of someone sending an SMS, to a phone number that's listed on the car. So there's a lot of interesting applications and verticals that you can go into with our top level apps that we offer out to the MSPs. So it's been fun to watch them get creative during this time with that.
One point we haven't discussed yet is how you're helping customers with security.
Yeah, definitely. And in fact, I'm glad you brought that up. Many of our customers come to us looking for information on things like STIR Shaken, which is the new FCC mandate it's basically a digital signature of a phone call to combat robocalling. And interesting, we've been working on STIR/SHAKEN for about a year and a half, starting in 2019, going through and making sure that all of our different network elements would support the new headers and the passport token. And then more recently, when the policy administrator was chosen, working with them to make sure we're in compliance. And then this past January being one of the first 3 networks in the nation that was actually approved for the public key. What that means is our customers, when they send out phone calls, get a digital signature on it. So when that goes to the far end handset, it's validated, it's verified. Think of it almost like when you go to your bank's website and it uses an SSL certificate, you see that little lock. Behind the scenes, we're sending one of those to the FAR carrier to ensure them that this is not a spoofed caller ID, that it's not a robocall that's trying to do neighbor spoofing or something like that, where the number comes up looking like yours, so you're going to be more likely to answer it. So that's one way that we're improving security. And one thing that we're building into our APIs as well is allowing our customers to change the inbound experience. And what I mean by that is once more networks start to sign their calls, you'll be able to go in and say, hey, on this number, if it's not a certain level of attestation, there's A, B, or C, either don't send me the call, send it to a voicemail, or send it to our voice capture product. And what voice capture does is similar to on a website where you have to verify you're a human by matching the numbers and letters that come up in the box. Our customers have the option of sending it to our voice capture platform that asks a random challenge question, and that eliminates the robocalling, the unsigned calls, where they are asked to input 5, 6, or 6, 7, and if they can't do it, then the call drops and it never makes it to the end user. So that's one way to combat robocalling. And then we also have a lot of customers, unfortunately, right now, are having what's called a TDOS attack, what's a telephony denial of service attack. And there's actually a couple law enforcement agencies that we've been working with where they have, someone, these have been overseas, but generating a ton of phone calls, every 10th of a second to their main numbers so that legitimate calls can't get through. So working with those different agencies, we've been able to put all their calls through our voice capture, and the bad guys can't get through that. So if you're someone that's calling the sheriff's department, it just says, hey, thank you for calling the sheriff's department, enter 45, you enter 45, and the call goes through. But the guys that are trying to do some harm and just flooding them with phone calls, can't get through that. They can't beat the randomization. So there's a lot of things where if we didn't own that network element, some of those creative and more robust security features wouldn't be able to put in place. Certainly not as easy as we do.
Joe and Ken, it's been great chatting with you today. I'd like to close with a question for you. What excites you about Brightlink? What motivates you on a daily basis?
Yeah, that's a great question. So, one of the things I like here is definitely the forward thinking that Joe and his team have here, with things like STIR/SHAKEN and taking the lead on that in the space. We're always looking for those types of opportunities where we can kind of be a leader in the space, right? And then couple that with the channel side that I'm on, the application side. And what's exciting to me is watching and as I go through the sales process with the MSPs that we're selling to and things like that, it's just hearing the differences of how we're approaching things and how much better it is for them to resell our services. And I get to, the fortune of hearing that on a weekly basis from our new partners. And I look forward to every new change that Joe and his team bring to the network.
Yeah, I would say probably the thing that I enjoy the most is when our customers bring us a business problem that they've had either chronically or they haven't been able to sell something to this customer for years because of X, and we're able to put a solution in place to solve it. That's been something that is always, it's fun when you can come up with a creative answer to a business problem that they've had, where someone else either A, didn't want to work on it with them, or B, couldn't come up with a solution. So those are the things that I really like. Usually we get a cool feature out of it as well. So I think that's what excites me.
Excellent. Love what you guys are doing here. As a reminder, we've been talking with Brightlink Chief Technology Officer Joe White and Ken Adams, who is Director of Channel Sales. Guys, how can we learn more about Brightlink?
Yeah, so really easy. Reach out to either one of us. Head over to our website, brightlink.com. There's all kinds of information there. And like I said, we're always open and available to take any inquiries and phone calls and questions.
Sounds great. Guys, stay safe out there. Thanks for your time today, and we'll catch up next time.
Great. Thanks.
Great. Thank you.
Take care.